This video is proudly sponsored by Gamersgate. Download games anytime, anywhere. Visit Gamersgate.com.
Dear son, I came into this world with little fanfare. No prophets foresaw my arrival. I never did save an enslaved race from their evil overlord, and to my own chagrin, my superpowers didn't kick in when I hit puberty. I never developed razor-sharp claws. I never came across a magic sword in the forest. No, the wizened old mage who didn't teach me never died tragically before my eyes just so I could triumphantly overcome the darkness on my own. I grew up as the third child in a family of 6 in rural Pennsylvania. We weren't poor, but we were far, far from rich. We simply had enough. And while some people look strangely at me when I say things like, "We didn't have air conditioning in my house until I was about 13, and they picture me growing up in a medieval Renaissance fair, I rest assured knowing that I had a much different childhood than most, and I appreciate the fact that it was unique to me. I spent my younger days working on my grandfather's farm. My older brother, my cousin, and I played with stick swords while exploring the acres of woods behind our house. We would spend afternoons playing in the creek that ran through our property until it ruined our shoes. As a childhood, I had it pretty great. Years passed and I eventually went to college. From there, I graduated and moved to the Washington, D.C. area in July of 2001. I landed a job that barely paid the bills, but in doing so, I met a girl who turned out to be your mother. We got married. By 2009, my dream job still never found me, so I found it. And just before my 30th birthday, I created the site ElderGeek.com. Starting the site was a surreal event. It was what I was always hoping to do with my life as an adult. What was even more fantastic was that people actually cared about what I had to say. The site never put a roof over my head or food on my table, but it was an emotional salary that I received to supplement the actual salary of my 9-to-5 job that paid for server fees and upkeep costs. But it scratched my itch for gaming, writing, and being visually creative without someone micromanaging me over my shoulder. In time, your mom and I moved away from DC, found ourselves a house in New Jersey, and in 2012 my life took a big turn, and we had you. People often tie memories to popular culture, music, movies, books, and television. We remember the song that was playing on our first kiss, we remember the movie we saw on our first date, we remember whose house we were at while we watched the Super Bowl, or Rockin' New Year's Eve with Dick Clark, or the book that we read that totally changed our life, like Catcher in the Rye, On the Road, or Breakfast of Champions. But I'm a geek. I always have been, and I always will be. Something you might even be embarrassed about as you get older. While I tie some memories to music, books, and movies like everyone else, I might be of the first generation to tie important events to video games. So these 25 stories are for you. They are snippets of my life, tied to highlights of 25 very important video games. By the time you're old enough to play video games, you may find these games too dated for you. I'm not going to force you to sit down and play through them. That sounds like hell. If my father forced me to listen to all of his most influential albums of his early life, I would have died from a brain aneurysm while listening to Frankie Valli. No thank you. I hope you don't mind, but I've taken the liberty of sharing them with the world, too. While these stories are unique to me, I think many others can identify with them, and maybe share a moment with their son, too. But I'll begin my story where any other brilliant writer would. Somewhere in the middle. Then I'll violently jackknife to random points in my past. I never actually said I was a brilliant writer. These aren't in any particular order of favor, they just are as they are. So I hope you enjoy them. Coming soon is the first in my list of 25 games for my son. Love, Dad.